Everybody out there, this is Seto, and as you can see by today's playmat, we are going to be doing a deck profile of one of my most favorite decks of all time, that being Six Samurai. So this is definitely one of my most favorite decks of all time. I actually got my invite at a regionals with this deck a long time ago in a galaxy far away. I've played Six Samurais even before the legendary Six Samurais, back when we had just the OG Six Samurais with Yachi, the bow and arrow guy, and some of the older ones. I played with the legendary Six Samurais, you know, using hand to pop things, get rid of things. And then I've played them for forever. They're actually my second favorite deck of all time, next to Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers are number one. You know, bless my heart, they are. Six Samurai are number 2. Number 3 is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Number 4 is Galaxy Eyes. And number 5 is Dark Magician. So those are my favorite decks of all time. But like I said, Six Samurais I've always loved. And I always loved this deck. Now, it took me a while to get around to doing a deck profile of this deck due to the fact that some of the new cards we got actually really changed the way that this deck was built and constructed. So when we got the new Six Samurai Link monster at the end of last year, and when it was initially announced, you could tell right away this was going to change the way how this deck functioned going forward. The ability to search out Gateway, yeah, like, thank you. I don't care if you're a Link monster. And the thing was, I was going to do a deck profile of this deck then, but then Master Rule 5 was quickly announced, and so this deck got put on the back burner. And then there was other decks I wanted to profile with Master Rule 5, so this deck got put on another back burner. And now finally, after putting this deck off for a while, we are now doing a deck profile of the deck with Master Rule 5. Now, the deck has changed a little bit, maybe from what you're used to, Six Samurais. Six Samurais, as you guys know, or you may have played back in the day, they were called Six Spamurais for their ability to spam the board and OTK your opponent. I remember some great duels between GK players and Six Samurai players back in the day, you know, at regional events and even at locals. And this deck has changed a little bit into more of a control element, more of a control build your board type of deck to some degree. And, you know, I was trying to figure out what ratios I wanted of certain cards, which cards I wanted to run, and we're going to discuss that more in depth as we get into the deck profile. So, sorry for that longer intro. I usually do not do intros that long, but I just want to talk a little bit more. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about your generic Six Samurais like Kizan, because you guys, if you've ever played Six Samurais, should know what Kizan does. It's pretty much, it's going to special summon itself for free. It's going to help you go into Naturia Beast because it's an Earth attribute. And it can be a OTK playmaker by summoning multiple on the field. Different things, OTK on your opponent, going for Exceeds, going for Synchros. It's your best main deck Six Samurai monster, I feel like. And if you ask me, besides Sheehan, he is my favorite. He just looks so badass in that black armor, man. Always love this card. These are the original ones I've had since Storm of Ragnarok days. A lot of these cards are original, OG, like original stuff. So these Kagekis are from the Structure Deck days when these got originally as super prints. Kageki is pretty good. I was debating running it as a 2 or 3 of and decided to go with 3 of. And you may be saying, well, why were you debating that actually? Well, if you guys are familiar with Kageki and some of its problems, is it can become really dead. And you can take a lot of damage from it. And what I mean was, sometimes back in the days what you would have is you go Kageki and then they would go Effect Failure. And then your Kageki's effect doesn't go off. And then you're just sitting there with a 200 attack beater just saying, hit me. And you can see where that's not a good thing. So I was debating about 3 of, and I decided at the end of the day to run 3. I feel that you don't, yes, you have infinite impermanence, yes, you have other hand traps that can stop it, but you got to run 3 now because of consistency reasons. So I bumped it back up to 3. Haven't done that in probably 5-6 years, actually. Next, we run 2 Mizuho, the red one, and 2 Shina, the blue one. Now, people play around with the ratios of these for forever, honestly. I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen these ratios of these cards ever since they initially came out be played at different ratios. I've seen people run 3 of, and 3 of. I've seen people run 3 of and 2 of. I've seen 1 and 1. I mean, I've seen all the ratios. And you may say, well, why 3 of and 2 of? Well, this thing doesn't do as much, but this pops things. So that's the reason I heard some people running it back in the day. I've seen ratios all over the place with this card. Me, personally, I've always liked 2 and 2 if you're going to run them. And I tried 3 and 3 again under, with Master Rule 5, because yes, it does help you go for your link plays. Yes, it can help you go into Levenier. I mean, I get why, and I decided at the end of the day to just run 2 and 2. It just wasn't. You would get these weird brick hands where you get 2 and then 1, and then you were kind of like, well, this sucks. But at least if you draw one of these and you have smoke signal, you can search out the other one and then go off, and then you can do your combo plays from there. So set up your link plays, do stuff of that nature. So it's a good card. They're good cards. They're good starter cards, but I didn't want to run more than 2 of each. But that's up to you. If you've found more success, be my guest. To Kizaru, I've debated about how many Kizaru I wanted to run. I was going back and forth with Kizaru, 2 Kizaru and 1 Kizaru, because he can be a brick. Some people refer to him as a garnet. I get it, because unless you're able to special summon him out, he becomes dead. But the fact that I'm running multiple Kagekis now, and for the fact that I'm able to turbo him out of the deck even, I was kind of going back and forth in my head saying, do I want 2 of, do I want 3, do I want 1 of or 2 of? And I decided to go with 2 of. And I haven't looked back since. We'll talk about some other cards I was playing around with him instead of running 1 of, but we'll get back to that. Next, I ran 1 Grandmaster, 1 The Legendary Secret of the Six Samurai, which is a good 1 of, 1 Hatsume, and then we'll talk about our tuners here in a second. So you may be asking yourself, where is Great Shogun Shien? And I'm going to say, don't put that bad juju on me. Don't put that bad juju, because I used to run that card. And unless you're using that card for link fodder, guys, that card sucks. I'm sorry. You can't change my mind. I've had too many times in old school Yu-Gi-Oh! And new school Yu-Gi-Oh! Where that card does nothing for me except be link fodder. And it will even sometimes be dead in my hand, because this deck turbos off. And if you don't have a board established, if you don't have that Great Shogun Shien your first turn, and you draw it midway through the duel or early on in the duel after you've made your combo, it's dead. Like, I cannot tell you how many times that happens. And people will say, oh, it can negate something. It doesn't negate anything. It just prevents. They only can use 1 spell or trap, and that's all they need to destroy your field. I'm not joking. Even if you have a Six Samurai Shien, I'm sorry. I just do not like that card. And I understand why people run it, but I'm going to be honest, it's dead. I just have had too many bad experiences since it, the Legendary. I tried it out when Legendary Six Samurais came out. I used to run it way back in the day. Tried it when Legendaries came out. Lost with it too many times on the board. Came back to it when recently, even with Master Rule 5 and even prior to Master Rule 5 when I was testing this deck out, and I quickly said, out of the deck you go again, buddy, because I do not like you still, and you don't work, because it's dead or it just doesn't do enough for me, and it just wasn't worth it. I would rather run 2 Grandmasters instead of that card. I'm just being honest. But hey, if you want to run it, be my guest. But Hatsume helps you recycle. This is really good as a beat stick and just helps you do multiple things. I'd rather run him. And then 1 Grandmaster, 6 Samurai Shien. He's awesome. He's been amazing ever since the olden days. Because he's probably the original 6 Samurais, actually. He's probably the only one that's left, I think. Next for your tuners, we run 1 Secret of we run 1 Fuma and 1 Shien Squire, which I have not run since before Master Rule 5. Now, you may be asking yourself, hey, why are you not running, some of these other cards which we're more familiar with in Six Samurai? So like Kagemusha, why are you not running Kagemusha? Why are you not running Elder of the Six Samurai? Why are you not running Asceticism? I'm still playing around with this. The way the new Six Samurais kind of work is you kind of want to turbo out your Link monster as quickly as possible. So you want to get to this as quickly as possible, your Link monster, so you can get Gateway set up. I'm going to be completely honest. And then you want to build a board from there. So you want to go for this as quickly as you can. That's the main focus of this deck. These cards are not as good. Elder was only good because of asceticism, and Kagemusha, while it's good with Kageki, it was only good because of asceticism. Now, have I played around with asceticism in the new age of Master Wolf 5? Yes. Yes, I have. Have I considered maybe playing around with it a little bit more in the future? Yes. Yes, I have. But from now, I'm finding what's more consistent is to take these out and run other cards, because it was a package you had to run, and just run these two, because you can recycle Fuma to do things. And she and Squire is going to help you go into Beast, and they're easy to get out in the field. You know, with Needle Fiber and, you know, Dojo, there's 1,000 other ways you can get these cards out just to go for it. So, I mean, I like them. But I decided to just run these. Maybe a second Fuma in the future, but I'm just liking this as is. For your hand traps, we're running 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Springs. Pretty staple hand traps, I feel like. Not much to say. You want hand traps in this deck. I would run Call by the Grave, but it's at 1 of. I just don't want to run it right now. If Nobleman does come out, I'll find space for it. But yeah, just 3 Ash Blossoms. 3 Shien's Dojo. I've debated going back and forth with 2 and 3 of. I really have. Maybe in the future I cut it back down to 2 of for an asceticism package, because again, it's similar to Great Shogun Shien. This card's good when you're going first. You draw this card in your opening hand, you draw 2 of them in your opening hand, and you have a combo, you're going to go off. But the problem is, if you don't, if you draw this mid after your combo play, if you draw this when you need a top deck, because this deck has a problem with that, it'll explode, and then it has no recourse. This card becomes dead. So go big or go home. So I've debated of running it as a 2 of or 3 of. I'm going back and forth even right now as we speak. But for right now, it's a 3 of in the deck. Staple, 3 United We Stand. It's a draw card for the deck. It's your Pot of Greed. Always will be a 3 of. Always will be a 3 of. Just. I've heard people say, "Oh, make it a 1 of and a 2 of." I'm like, no. Why? Why? Why are you doing that? 3 Shien Smoke Signal. Even more powerful if you're running the red and blues. So, yeah, 3 of. Gateway to 3 of, please. Can we put Gateway to 3 of, Konami? Can we put Gateway to 3? No? No, we can't do that, right? Oh, I'm sad. So somebody out there is like, yes, and somebody's saying no. But 1 Gateway. Got my old copy. 2 Tempo of the 6 and 1 Terraforming. I'm testing this out. Like I said, this deck is probably going to be updated again in a few months. But for right now, I'm trying this out. Initially, I wasn't too much of a fan of this card. I'm going to be completely honest. I really wasn't a fan of this card at all. But it helps get counters, and there's a bunch of cool things you can do with it. So I'm trying Tempo of the 6 right now. May I cut it out in the future? There's a very good chance I will. Especially if I'm going to run more of an asceticism package instead of this crazy wacky combos 6 Samurai deck I'm trying out right now for fun. But for right now, I'm running it as a just 2 Temple and 1 Terraforming. I've seen people run 3 Temple. I've never wanted to run it 3 Temple because it becomes dead. Once you have 1 Temple up, you're usually good to go. You just need 1 of it. You don't need 3 of it. So it's not that great of a. It's not that essential to the deck. So that's why I'm running just 1 Terraforming and 2 Temple. It's just nice to have. So yeah, just 3 of that. Your 1 Rhoda, your 1 Upstart, your 1 Legacy Succession, your 1 Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn staple, World Legacy staple, I feel like, especially with the Link plays. Upstart makes it a 39 card deck, and Rhoda helps you draw more cards. Pretty staple there, guys. And then trap-wise, I ran just 3 Infinite Impermanents. These were for Call by the Graves. This used to be Call by the Grave. I'm running Infinite Permanents because this deck is trying to build like a board to some extent. And Infinite Permanents is going to help you protect your board just a little bit, because the Achilles heel of 6 Samurais has always been monster effects. So for that reason, with Ash Blossoms to stop drawing and searching, you also have effect negation. So that's good there. On to your extra deck. We have our Alti 6 Samurai Shien. I've had this bad boy for forever, ever since I pulled him out of a pack back in the day from Storm of Ragnarok. 2 6 Samurai Shien. 1 Six Samurai's dog, Naturia Beast. That's for you old school players. We used to call this guy Six Samurai's Beast, Six Samurai Beast, because literally he is Six Samurai Shien's dog. That's literally what he is. Because you get these two on the board, you're good. But those are your only synchros we're running. Fusions, we're running the 1 Six Samurai, the Shien Rien. This is pretty good. I'm also running Shadow of the Six Samurai just for its name. It still pops up for its name, and so that's why I'm running the Exceed version of it, just the one of. Other Exceeds I'm running is Tornado Dragon to help get rid of Floodgates, and Leveneer to help get Banished Six Samurais back, which is good. We're running, for your links, the 2 Battle Shogun of the Six Samurai. This is essential 2 of in the deck, hands down. We're also running Needle Fiber because we are a synchro-based deck to some degree, so Needle Fiber is going to be important. We're also running Phoenix and Cerberus as well as Unicorn. So your Nightmare package of Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Unicorn, pretty staple. Also, you're running Saluja Skulldread to help, so you can help dig in your deck, and also Appaloosa, the Bow of the Goddess, so you can create a board possibly. Like I said, I'm still playing around. Maybe in the future I'll add some more synchros, make this more of a synchro-oriented deck. But we're going to see how that plays out in the future. That's pretty much your extra deck, guys. You know, Needle Fiber, Christian Halafibrax to help go for synchro plays. Your main ones you're going to go for is pretty much your synchros, maybe Leveneer sometimes, your Battle Shogun a lot, and then sometimes you go for these big link combo plays because of your ability to spam the board, but that's up to you. Like I said, this deck doesn't have many, you just have to watch out for hand traps with this deck. It does suck that Call by the Grave is no longer existing, but in the future, you know, you never know. It could come back. Konami's been playing around with that card for a while now, it feels like. We may get Nobleman. If you have tactical talents, maybe you take out the infinite impermanences for tactical talents. That's up to you, because that can help you a little bit. You may want to run Neberoos. Yeah, you may say, well, isn't this a break your board deck? Yes, it is, but if they build their own board after they crack yours, you need to be able to crack theirs again as you reoccur resources. So there's a lot of different things to keep in mind when you're playing this deck and how to play it. And you may say, well, why are you giving all this information? Because I've played this deck a lot, guys. When you talk about a deck you've topped with and it's your baby, you know a lot of the ins and outs. And I don't, trying to say I'm an expert on the deck. There's people out there that probably know more than I do. But I've played this deck for freaking over 10 years plus, 12, 13. So I've seen this deck since it was nothing, back when probably John Moore topped with it back in the day, all the way to now. So I know the deck pretty well. So hopefully this was a helpful video. And if you did like this, if you love Six Samurais, give this video a thumbs up. And remember to subscribe to the channel, guys, if you would like some more awesome videos. Thank you for watching. Again, I hope this video was helpful for you in your creation of your Six Samurai deck, or just strolling down Six Samurai memory lane with me for the good times and the bad times. But I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody, and good luck dueling to all of you. Seto Kaiba out.